hit you from a distance. Do a credit card fraud, no illegal distribution. About to hit the road, I need to rent a Ford Fusion. Stabbing. Yesterday I walked in Walmart and started grabbing stuff. Walked up to the clerk like, can you please add this up? Hop one of my homies cause my money wasn't adding up. He tried to sneak me from the back, got a camera when I'm bagging up. I just put my chip in the machine and she bagged my...
What's up? It's Jorge. I'm doing this again. I feel like I have a better understanding, at least now, of what I want to do. So, yeah, I got a mic. Cool. But yeah. So, life. I want to talk about that for a bit. Life is tough, you know what I mean? I don't do much, I should say. I'm just a normal dude. I smoke a lot of weed. You know what I mean? I guess just like anyone else on the internet, I'm just into the internet in general. You know what I mean? Funny shit, memes, pop culture, whatever. But, like I said, I'm just a normal dude. I work in the deli, you know what I mean? I work in a Fred Meyer deli. And I'm not going to say which one, whatever. But just know I represent PDX. I've been working there for about 2 years, you know what I mean? I guess the only really thing I hate, sometimes management is just a little off, and the customers are dicks, a lot of the times. I almost said sometimes. It is sometimes, but more a lot of the time than more sometimes, so, yeah. Yeah. One thing about working on the demographic, especially for where I live, is majority older. That's actually a pretty mixed bag now, not gonna lie. It is 2020, so you see a whole bunch of crazy fucking people just roaming around doing whatever now, I guess. But but majority, at least what I do with, is just upper class to high class old white people, you know what I mean? Not to categorize or put them in a box or anything, but that's just the demographic there, you know? But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about a different story. The story I'm going to tell y'all about today is something I like to call the tomato story. It's kind of... Now, the tomato story involves this lady who I was helping one day at the counter. Now, since our deli we used to be able to make custom-made sandwiches, you know what I mean? You come up, order what kind of bread you want, baguette, whatever, that kind of shit, right? And we used to have this counter which you'd be able to make your own custom sandwich. They got rid of that since then. I don't know, some fucking, big Kroger company, you know what I mean? Just for some reason. I don't know necessarily why. There's always something else it's always something different every time, I feel like. But one thing, I was making this sandwich one day for this lady. I was helping the counter just like another day, right? And sometimes the stupidity of customers just kind of gets over me. It's fucking terrifying, honestly, sometimes. I look at, but as a 21-year-old who's just trying to find necessarily purpose in life, or just figure out what he wants to do, or what he wants to, what he wants to do, so. As a 21-year-old, you figure most of these adults who come up to you with all these stupid questions would be able to have that common sense to answer it themselves. But obviously, sometimes they just don't. It's cool. We all have stupid occasions sometimes. We all have little hiccups in our brains or whatever. But sometimes the just the general lack of common sense from customers and just people in general that walk through the stores is just wild, man. And I don't want fucking neighbors. Bro, no one wants to listen to Van Halen. Put on the baby. No one wants to listen to Van Halen anymore. Put on the baby. Like I said, the stupidity of customers sometimes just blows me away. Just the lack of common sense and just how they can just go about their life, I should say. Just not knowing. Or just... I don't know how to put this. Without just even just figuring out themselves what to do, you know what I mean? Sometimes you see people who have been coddled throughout life, and when you see them in person in life, you just wonder how they made it through life. And you're like, wow, you had a lot of support. You had a lot of people. If they were left to be left alone, they would be fucking goldfish, bro. They would die. Honestly, they wouldn't know what to do without an EBT card, without a debit card, without a fucking, without any guidance that doesn't require them thinking of it themselves. You know, that sounds bad. But I just don't understand. I don't understand sometimes how these people can just go through life with just that much lack of common sense and just not knowing what the fuck shit is. You know? So, the tomato story. So one day, like I said, I was just working at the counter. Just another day. You know what I mean? I was just working up front. It was me. I forgot who was working with me at the time. I don't want to name any names or anything. But it was me and this one lady, and we were just working at the counter, right? And I'm making sandwiches at the time for, I'm pretty sure, another customer. And the lady walks up, you know what I mean? She's like, hey, can I get a sandwich? Blah, blah, blah. Right? And I'm like, all right, fuck it, whatever, blah, blah, yeah. You know, and she comes and we have like paper bags at the time that like, you had to check off like what you wanted on the sandwich, not necessarily the sandwich itself, but yeah, but like what you wanted, you know what I mean? And there's like check marks for like, so like what kind of meat, what kind of, you know what I mean, toppings, you know what I mean, all the sides and that kind of shit, you know what I mean, with pepperoncinis, whatever you want to put on the sandwich, you know what I mean, whatever, you know. And she goes down and marks, and she pretty much marks everything. So I'm like, oh fuck, one of these people, you know, because there's always those fucking people that just like want everything and write everything specific and everything like that. And she just goes ahead and just marks every fucking thing, right? So I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I start making a sandwich, right? And as I'm making the sandwich, the lady she's like on her phone, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just making the sandwich. But as I'm putting the condiments on and all the extra veggies and all that kind of shit, with every vegetable, she starts to question me. So she's like, hey, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's tomato. And she's like, and she just looks at me a little bit. I'm like, is that okay? You put it on. She's like, yeah, that's okay. And then I'm like, and then I continue with the list. And next was like lettuce or something, right? And she's like, hey, what's that? And I'm like, it's lettuce. She's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, you know? And she does this for like every fucking vegetable, right? And it takes me a bit to realize that her face and her friend, because her friend just popped up. Sorry, I forgot another part of the story. But her friend just walked up like a minute earlier, just like on her phone, just like with her, because I don't know, but they're pretty sure they were hanging out, and she just questions every fucking vegetable that I have, and I'm just putting on a sandwich. And it takes me a bit. It takes me a bit to realize that I don't think she knows what a tomato is. I don't think she knows what a tomato is. It takes me a bit to realize that she didn't have recollection of what was going on at the time. You know, because the way she was looking, the way she was looking at me when I said it's a tomato was the same way I look when people talk at me and just talk about shit I don't want to talk about, with that dumb, just fucking, just like get out of my face look. But it was more confused. It's like, so you could tell, you know how you could tell on someone's face when they just look so fucking confused, just the way, like, you can see them think in their fucking, like, forehead, just right in the center. You could just see all this, not just all the steam and just all the stupid shit that you could see them just conjuring up in their fucking head and their mind. I saw that same expression on her face, and bruh, I don't think she knew what a tomato was. And then, honestly, it kind of depresses me as a human being, because I'm like, wow, ma'am, no, I mean, I'm not disrespecting, obviously I'm hoping guessing your age isn't as inappropriate now as it is, whatever, but she couldn't be no older than 30. She's definitely older than me, you know what I mean? So, she knows, I feel like I'm hoping she knew a couple things or two, you know? And the way she was just going about her day, it kind of hurt my heart a little bit, because I'm like, wow, she don't know what a tomato is. She has been sheltered throughout most of her life. That the fact that she don't know what a tomato is, like, she knew her iPhone, she knows how to go through apps, she knows how to log onto the internet. I'm pretty sure she knows how to work Windows, but yet she don't know what a tomato is. She did not know what a tomato is. As a person who is 21, realizing that a person older than you does not have the same basic info, I'd hope, a regular human being would have about their nutrients and their, not nutrients, but their just overall general diet is crazy. And the entire time, I'm just putting up a sandwich. Since then, she just starts looking at me and starts just keep second guessing almost everything. She started asking questions about fucking mayonnaise and all the kind. I'm like, man, first of all, I know you know what mayo is, okay, bitch, okay, but it honestly got to me that day. You know what I mean? Some about her and her look and just how she reacted. I was just blown away. I don't know. You know, and the one thing that I really got hurt about just seeing all this and whatever is just that I was making a sandwich and I had looked down. I was facing her, right? She was in front of me the entire time, right? She's like, say I'm making a sandwich right here, right? So I'm making a sandwich right here, right? And I'm just like, whatever, spreading shit. She was standing right in front. Her friend popped up right there. What I did not realize at the time, I looked down, right, towards their feet. She had a fucking kid, bro. She had a kid. And she didn't know what a tomato was. I feel kind of weird about myself, you know? About knowing the shit I know, you know what I mean? I don't know, like, I know how to crop those people when I was 12, you know what I mean? Any button, outie button, you know what I mean? Blue waffle, we all know about that shit. And I'm pretty sure she did too, with her inappropriate ass, you know what I mean? She had a back tattoo, a couple just right above her ass. I don't want to say it's a tramp stamp because I do believe, because one day I do want to get a butterfly tramp stamp, but that's just me. But you know what I mean? But I knew she'd been around the block a couple times, and the fact that she had a kid and didn't know what tomato was, like I don't think I don't want to second guess her knowledge of not knowing what a fucking tomato is, but you know when someone looks at you and they're lying about like, oh yeah, I know that, like, you know, I've seen that episode of fucking Game of Thrones. I've never watched Game of Thrones, okay, but that's on me, all right, and at least I admit it. I don't watch Game of Thrones. She did not know what a tomato was and looked at me the same way I look at people when they ask me if I watch Game of Thrones or if I know anything about Game of Thrones, okay? And I try and lie. I don't want to try and lie. But she tried and lied, and she was terrible at it. And just that confusion I saw for that, how many ever seconds or whatever that was, just that confusion just confirmed a lot of what I guessed about a lot of people that just walked through the store, you know? That she had been all through her life, experienced everything from whatever age to she is then to now. She had been through all her life, just not realizing what a tomato is. She went through birth. A baby came out of her vagina, and she didn't know what a tomato was. Like I said, as a 21-year-old, it kind of hurts my heart that people older than me just don't know what shit is. And shit being so vague, but I mean just general knowledge of stuff. Of things and, you know what I mean? Just the general public, I should say. Just what stuff is around you and how stuff works. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of mind-boggling for me. It's, like I said, it's all personal, but she didn't know what a fucking tomato was. So that's the story, I guess. I'm sorry, there's no real way to, like, end it, but, yeah.